All right, my people, back again with the latest updates our transfer market. So many things going on over the last, let me say, 6 hours. So many deals being completed, so many discussions being had, so many bids being turned down, and so many players making the move. I will see a home come right here on Onside. My name is Joshua Hollow too. Now, yɛbɛdi nkɔmmɔ bi anɔpa no mebrɛ mo update bi, and I was telling you about certain players now ɔma complete your moves, especially Chelsea. But this time around, so many other days are happening across board. Manchester United is in the news, Aston Villa is in the news, and nkɔmmɔ no yɛ bebree. So I'll not waste too much time because I was set yɛdi sound common Cecilia. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for choosing this channel. In Komobi Ebedi Wahano, you enjoy it, and so you leave your comment also in the comment section. I dream be our person just leave it in the comment section. Tell me what you think about some of these transfer decisions, and let's talk about it because Leicester City and Ipswich 4 have completed the deal for Fatawu Issahaku to move for £23.5 million. Now, Mobekaya Fatawu Issahaku, he gave quite some impressive performances for Ghana at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, of course, for Canada, US, and Mexico, no, and your ball tournament in way, already we even saw Gideon Mensah complete a move from AJ Auxerre to FC Cologne, not on a free transfer because not the contract a baby, yeah, not official new club. So you can say that for Gideon Mensah, but subsequently we've seen for Fatawu Issahaku, I think said no, I'm ready to John so said player your friend Tariq Lamptey so in your QPR with Fiorentina or Kobo. So that is as far as the Ghanaian players are concerned, and I think it's some good deal for them to help to revive their respective careers. But over the last few hours, no, and you might be very cost in the transfer market. Now, let's start from Manchester United first year, because Manchester United, no, it looks like at this point they want to try and complete certain deals. Obisamia, I think those deals are quite tricky. The first one involves Joshua Zexi. Now, Obekaya Joshua Zexi, no, he joined not too long ago, and at this point, no, Juventus 4 have made a possible contact with Manchester United for Joshua Zexi, and it looks like Manchester United may want to sell him for 35 million to 40 million pounds, and that is a very good deal. ABA will complete this deal now. It will be good. The player will get some playing time, and also to be some good money. Manchester United will take that money and go into the market to go and look for certain replacement. And this is according to a Gazzetta from Italy. Another deal at Manchester United for Pesomuye is for Warren Zaire-Emery, and the initial approach is that Manchester United for person prepare about 60 million euros to go and approach PSG. Now, you all know that Warren Zaire-Emery is a very young guy, young talent, just 20 years old, and with this kind of situation for the player, no, Manchester United look like they want to also recruit more youngsters to fill in those specific roles on the pitch. It will help them to be able to provide a lot of planning for the long term. And with Michael Carrick and what he wants to do, I'm not shocked because his midfield options are per se very solid, and he wants to make sure that he has players who can take him a very, very long time playing at a consistent level. And I think you'll get that in a player, I think, Warren Zaire-Emery, because he has a very good, acumen for the game. And we share the fact that even at PSG, he's not a regular starter. If he can be assured of regular football of Manchester United, I think Warren Zaire-Emery may consider that move, because moving to Manchester United is a very big club. Of course, PSG is also a very big club. We are winners of UEFA Champions League, but you want to go somewhere that you can get more playing time. And I think 60 million euros for Warren Zaire-Emery. Earlier on today, there was a big news. Say Chelsea were trying to pursue Bruno Guimaraes. I honestly thought it was kind of saying it looked quite tricky, looked quite dicey, because Bruno Guimaraes, the kind of combativeness, he's a very physically dominant player. And Chelsea from Finf, we already have Moise Caicedo or Sergio Mano. And to say, the Bruno Guimaraes who is he coming to replace? That's the question number one. Number two, if he doesn't get playing time, would he regret the fact that he moved from Newcastle to Chelsea? So those were the things that were going on in my mind. I say Arsenal are stepping up their chase to try and get Bruno Guimaraes. As it speaks, they have decided to open direct talks with Newcastle for Bruno Guimaraes, and It looks like now they are directly communicating with a Newcastle club, no, to see if there's a possible deal that can be explored for a brand, you know. Another thing, and they say it looks like at this point, no, John Stones and now to just say John Stones, he was in poor position to move from Manchester City to Chelsea as a free agent. But area we are, Neba say he is favoured more for Arsenal than Chelsea, and it looks like on a Arteta, the relationship he had with the manager over the last few years is something that he wants to rekindle. And we share Arteta now. Arteta was an assistant to Pep Guardiola or Manchester City, and on John Stones Juma, and he was very happy with him. And it looks like that is the advantage that Arsenal may have at this point. Into Mikel Arteta, if he's able to utilize that channel really well, it looks like he'll be able to snatch the signature of Abranti Afeno John Stones to sign for Arsenal as a free agent. But let's see how that goes. I think Jabi Alonso so a bit many player need to come out, try and understand, try and get the player to understand the kind of philosophy that he wants to implement at Chelsea. And I think that could also make a difference. Phil Foden also will news more because we're signing new contract with Manchester City until 2030. Until Phil Foden committing his future into Manchester City for a club. No. Another thing is that Rodri earlier on today, there was a report say Rodri beat Real Madrid, but at this point, Florentino Perez has made it clear say on signing Rodri, and as to what the reason is, it's not revealed. But the whole point now is that Rodri will be already 30 years old at this point. It looks like Man City still want to give him a 3-year contract. It looks like they are very close to meeting at a certain point where he'll be given a contract, but he would have to readjust because not initially he wanted to move to Spain because he really wanted to go and play for Real Madrid. But as it stands, if Real Madrid block that deal, the only choice he has is or Manchester City for at least the next 3 years if a new contract is given to him. And that is also from a year Manchester City first to a year. Now the biggest news also about Alex Scott. Now Alex Scott about Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, at this point, it looks like they are receiving offers for Alex Scott, but they don't want him to go for any other money at all. In Tisobesha, the 22-year-old currently, he's been linked to Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United. It looked like they rejected a bid from Chelsea for the player, just 22 years old. What is happening is that Bournemouth have decided that they don't want to sell the player because he's under contract until 2028. And Omunyan set a price tag and to play and so at this point, whatever bid that the teams are placing for him, enya dia Bournemouth for betimi aka say ye gel to ma release player na ma so on Kobo club, because at this point they have not set a price tag and the player has a contract till 2028. And when you look at these two reasons, it is something that may not be feasible, say on Beton. But I mean, you never know if the price is right. They could accept it. And I'm looking at Bournemouth, thinking about this in a way, say Sikano Sika Ombetimi use say Sikana pay players for market so to replace Alex Scott in that position, even 2 or 3 players, they may accept it. So it doesn't look like any of the teams that are interested in Alex Scott will back down anytime soon. I honestly feel say it's just an issue of patience and negotiation. And Banisadi, I think you still get these 3 respective clubs still pushing and willing to try and sign Alex Scott, and you never know how it's going to go. Let's wait and see. Say ABA as and Papa be free. In other news, there are so many other stories. But at this point, I just want to encourage you to subscribe. Just subscribe and turn on the post notification. Say we drop a video new and you are going to be one of the first people to receive it, and also connect with me on this platform. You build the community and have more discussions on football transfers and so many other stories. The new season but you be discuss the European games, Champions League, so many other things. You be home come here on side. Now Ipswich Town. Aside for Tao Isaiah could do normally, one other signing is that they've signed Dyson Maeda, our Boma Japan, and say World Cup, World Cup New Year, so many players have benefited from the kind of performances that they put up at the World Cup. So it has become the case, so many of the players that made their mark, they are getting teams to play, and a lot of it will keep coming from now till next 2 weeks, next week to next 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. By the time a season never starts, most of the players that performed well at the FIFA World Cup are going to get very good teams to play. I think another transfer dealer you're confirming over the last few minutes. Crescencio Somerville into also Abon Homoden free West Ham United, and we're completing the transfer to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia for a deal that's close to about 80 million euros, 80 million euros if I'm correct. And at this point, no Crescencio Somerville so are completing the move from West Ham United to Al Hilal, and that was also a very good impressive performance from him at the FIFA World Cup. Or share I think 2 goals a man Netherlands national team. These are the stories coming in from the transfer market. Another breaking news at at this point, it looks like Alejandro Garnarcho were completing the move from Chelsea to Aston Villa. Now it is a loan deal with an obligation to buy. At this point, he will move from Chelsea and go to Aston Villa, and then there will be an obligation for a buy by the time the season comes to a close. Into Alejandro Garnacho, his Chelsea career has come to an end, and so we're sure Chelsea really wanted to sell the player outright for about £40 million, but as it stands now, Manchester United for being some sell-on profits. So it looks like the deal that is going to be done may have to be completed at the end of the season, because Villa want to propose a loan deal, and Chelsea for to me so Ombema Alejandro Garnacho Kobo loan deal, but with an obligation to buy. Into the full details of the financial structure of the contract, it will be reviewed as I bring you more updates later. Until Utimu said Alejandro Garnacho no Chelsea didn't really work out, and I really don't blame the player per se. I think when you look at the fact that Xabi Alonso has come into the dugout, and if you have a manager like that who knows what he wants and wants to go and get it, you don't want to stand in his way to impose players like Alejandro Garnacho on his neck, because Omu are very inconsistent. Even Nicolas Jackson say at this point it looks like Aston Villa also pushing to sign Nicolas Jackson. And the very good news about that, and they say if Alejandro Garnacho and then Nicolas Jackson silly moves from Aston Villa to Chelsea, the combined price tag on both of them is getting to at least £107 million. Odessa £107 million no at the two Morgan Rogers Sikano Soa. And now the two Sikano is £117 million. Into £170 million every £107 million, you bring £10 million. So the net spend for Chelsea on Abrantia Feno Morgan Rogers will be just £10 million. That is if those deals materialize. So Alejandro Garnacho and Nicolas Jackson, it's me free Chelsea. Echo Aston Villa for that price tag of that combined price tag of £107 million. Chelsea would have only spent a net sum of £10 million on Abrantia Feno Morgan Rogers. It is a very good piece of business. So Samia, very very good piece of business, and both clubs would have won in such a nice manner. But even talking about Aston Villa, Okoshe transfer market, so they are making some very very good deals. They've completed the signing of Joao Gomez from Wolves, or more for €40 million. Okoshe Freiberg and so Amako former player from Johan Manzambi for €60 million. So aside the fact that they are also selling, they are also spending, and the same for Chelsea. Into Oshe situation is a win-win situation, and I think it's a very very good piece of business that the two clubs have done, and I think it's a boom in terms of the benefits thereof in the future. Young Liverpool for us because it looks like Jet Spence and so is being seriously considered by Liverpool to sign for them, and Spurs for a demand close to about £40 million, and Sasikano, I think that it's a very good price tag. Looking at how Jet Spence born modding at the FIFA World Cup, and when you look at those performances and you look at how he can slot into a Liverpool setup now, he looks like a player who can easily go in there and make a mark. Ope player or resolute in terms of the mindset and how he even positions himself. He has also a very tall physique in terms of aerial dominance. You can also attribute that to him, and I think overall, the ball playing ability, ain't bad. He's also able to give you pace on and off the ball, high up the pitch and then down across the pitch. So I think it's a very good piece of business. If Liverpool for a person Musili Sadio now, I think they will have to do it quick, because teams like Inter Milan and Newcastle and so Abranti and so so good stories coming in. And I think another big one, Julian Alvarez. In the last 2 hours, Arsenal 4 have made a major progress on signing Julian Alvarez. And I think this will be a landmark transfer if say it may materialize here, because Julian Alvarez, Barcelona are trying to sign the player, and they are trying to convince the young man to come and play for them. At this point, that's the ball Atletico Madrid. But when you look at what is happening right now, Andrea Berta, that is the sporting director at Arsenal, will have the direct talks with the player, and the player looks like a person or back to the Premier League. So let's see how that goes. But that's a very big news if it materializes. Julian Alvarez will be free at Atletico Madrid to come and play for Arsenal. And I think it will be a very good deal for Arsenal. And just like I was talking about Nicholas Jackson, he's interested in joining Aston Villa because manager Unai Jumada Villarreal Unai Emery is the one who is coaching Aston Villa, and he wants to go back there and work with him. I think it will even be a very good deal because already Oma complete Alejandro Garnarcho and the way Nicholas Jackson and yeah, those are the stories currently. And latest one at Airbus is Tottenham Hotspur or Mone Benfica for Casa for winger friend Andres Sheldrop. Bekaya Sheldrop about Norway, Obama Norway, FIFA World Cup. No, not Chelsea in Liverpool so age, but Benfica still almost pay 80 million euros, and it's going to be about 100 million euros because Sheldrop Lancasano, he has a buyout clause of 100 million euros on his contract. It is a ban in China. You have to hold at least that or nothing less to be able to buy the player. And at this point, no, Sheldrop, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Liverpool, air tracking the progress of a Norwegian player, no, and it could go anywhere. But this is still early days in the transfer market. Let's still keep let's keep our eyes open, and let's look for the deals a bit back in the next few days. But the last one, Casemiro Abonhomodin, he has now joined Inter Miami as a free agent. Wabra free Manchester United last season, and on Messi Kobo team my friend Inter Miami United States. Leave your comment in the comment section. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Like video, no, subscribe to channel, no, and I promise you to bring you nothing but the best here on Onside with me, Joshua Hollow. Until I come your way again, I'll see you in the next one.